Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Melina Mala, and I am your host, and this is The Becoming. It's been a week. I'm feeling really excited about everything that I've been doing, and as I'm sitting here reflecting today just about summer so far and all of the new things I've tried and how I've put myself out there so much this summer, going to events alone and going and putting myself out there and taking a chance on content creation and social media and just trusting in myself, learning that it's all a process and showing up for 31 weeks now. It's been an amazing summer so far. I'm processing all the change that's happened since the beginning of the year still, and as I'm sitting here today just thinking about how 8 months ago I didn't have a job, I poured into my art, I paused school, and I really focused on my healing, my growth, self-confidence, and self-concept. I had the time that I don't think I'll ever have again in my life to reflect so deep and not be around all the noise. I had the time for a little bit of silence in my life, and that silence was hard. It was stressful, not knowing financially where my security is coming from because I don't have a safety net, and that is a sacrifice. Setting boundaries with family is not easy. I obviously hold love and compassion and my own anger, and that's something I don't think I'll ever deny myself because I gave it a go, a second round, just to know if the decision I made at 18 was the right one or not. And it doesn't mean it's forever. It just means it's right now. There's still so much love in my heart, and that's what this conversation will be about today, is how setting boundaries can harden you. It's scary to set boundaries, and it's scary to set boundaries. I get that, and I also understand that they're necessary. But in the meantime, when you are setting boundaries, you lock up your heart a little bit. And I think as I practice any type of new relationship, either with myself or with friendship, I really had to learn how to soften, to let people do things for me, to not be Miss Independent all the time, which is fine. Obviously, I love that part of me, but there is this softness underneath that shell, and it's a tender heart. And when you go through life with a tender heart, you're scared. It's fear of it being broken or damaged again, and these are your wounds. The biggest thing for me is I know I'm leading with my heart, with good intention, with courage, and trust in God and divine, and belief that my purpose is to heal these intergenerational wounds. I'm never going back to self-abandoning, to losing my agency, my autonomy, and this is generations before me. There's no blame on anyone. I would say that since my own healing journey, I've been able to build a secure relationship within myself and learn how to hold secure attachment within my friends. That is something I struggled with for so long, is how do I have a friendship relationship without losing myself? And that comes from people-pleasing tendencies that were adopted over generations of trauma. And I'm just going to preface it saying this. Anytime I say no blame on anyone, and I think me needing to say that comes from a place of needing to reassure people that they're good people. It's hard to do what's best for yourself sometimes, but it is so necessary. And that is something I've learned through boundary setting. I've also learned that it's going to feel like you are a villain in someone else's story, and you have to understand and learn your true intentions as to why you've chosen to go this route. Your body will tell you how it's feeling. It's important you listen to your body when it gives you those signals. Your body will tell you when you don't have enough energy to output into something else and you need to relax and ground and come back to yourself. Bring yourself back to baseline nervous system regulation when you have shown your body that you can protect it and that you're there for it, you're there for you, and there's no losing you because it will tell you when it's uncomfortable. It'll show you when you're excited. Through my practice of yoga and meditation, I've really learned how to regulate my nervous system, and it's honestly changed my life. When it comes to my health and wellness, I see it now as a way to take care of my vessel, this body I'm in, and honor the gift that God, divine universe, has given us, which is everyday life. The ability to breathe, the basic functions of our body, how everything needed to go right for you to be able to wake up this morning. The immense gratitude I have gained through this process of setting boundaries and learning how to be happy in life, not have a scarcity mindset and mentality, how to view the abundance that's all around us, how your energy is formed through your thoughts and your beliefs. Your life is formed through your beliefs about yourself. Your life is formed through your beliefs, and that is the lens that we all look through. Had I not stepped away, set boundaries, learned in therapy to have an open mind, to be able to hold multiple emotions at once, and ground in the present moment, go with the ebbs and flows of life. Having this introspective period of my life as well, to look at patterns of dysregulation, my triggers, look at when I need to anchor in my body, take those moments before the spiral happens, and ground myself in my energy through coming back to myself and reminding myself that I'm okay. Nothing is wrong, and this is just how it goes. It's up to you to choose better for yourself and to choose for yourself. You can't teach someone how to choose themselves. You have to figure out how to choose yourself and practice coming back to yourself over and over again, dedicating your life to your dreams, your goals, while still maintaining and protecting that tender heart. While healing gives you all these beautiful ways of being, it is a choice at the end of the day if you're going to put them into practice. A choice only you can make every day, and that starts with something small. One thing that'll get you closer to your goals every day. And through creating this podcast for 31 weeks and constant consistency, this is something I've been able to. So if choosing yourself makes you the villain, then be the villain. You're always going to be the villain in someone else's story when they can't take accountability for themselves, for their lives. And that's okay. Of course I can recognize that, and we can recognize that in people. But at the same time, through your own healing, you learn how to be compassionate and keep your heart soft and open. And it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not like after 5 years, having not seen my family, I could unhit pause and go back to life, emotional safety being damaged. All of us being traumatized by this event that took place in our lives. At the end of the day, I have done my healing to work through the trauma, and I have dedicated myself to healing this trauma, and I would only hope the same for anyone who has had any abandonment wound to recognize where this pattern stems from and its triggers. When I decided to set boundaries for the second time with my family, it's because I felt the lowest I'd ever felt in my life, and that was back to a depressive state of being, and realizing I've outgrown the environment. It no longer aligns with my beliefs, and it doesn't give me that emotional safety, and I can't even hold and dysregulate myself over and over again just to people please. That was one of the biggest things, and I feel at peace talking about this. I understand it's a really heavy, hard topic to talk about setting boundaries with your family. That's not easy for anybody, and sometimes you do have to do what's best for you, and it's something I have learned and continue to practice, is coming back to that compassion and remembering that I have a soft, loving, kind heart, that putting boundaries doesn't make you a bad person, that putting yourself first make you selfish, but is it bad to be selfish? When I decided to set these boundaries, I knew I was cutting myself off because it's all or nothing. Unfortunately, there was no middle ground to be found at this moment, and doesn't mean it'll never happen, but at this moment in time, there's no middle ground and it needs to be this way. That's something I've just come to terms with in my life, and my life has proven to show me that I can have security and safety in community and friendships, and that I'm never alone. The first time I set these boundaries, I had basically left home at 18, knowing the repercussions. I come from the intergenerational trauma. Wounds were so deep, I could not stay in that environment any longer to be able to flourish and bloom and blossom. There was no growing in that garden. I was done. My pot had reached its limit. Now, at 18, I knew that, okay, I can't continue like this. I knew from a very young age. In grade 6, I was telling myself I'm going to have to marry my best friend, fake a marriage, and leave home. That's the only way I'll be able to, because culturally there is this idea in safety of codependency, and I refused to wait until I got married to leave home, and that's when I start living and having freedom. Absolutely not. My freedom is everything to me. If losing connection costed my freedom of voice and choice, there was no price that could bring me back. And I knew in my heart that this was the only way, and trusted and led with that gut feeling, and I don't regret any of it, and I don't regret anything that's happened since then, because I've come to terms, I've taken my accountability, I've had the hard conversations, I've seen my wrongdoings in situations, and if that's not enough, then I'm good. I'll see you later. I love you. I hope you're taking care of yourself. And I hope you know how much love there is in my heart for you, how good of a person I am, despite what you may paint of me. And I'm grateful. You're in my prayers. We are all responsible of creating our own inner peace, and I have nothing but love and compassion in my heart for everyone's lives that have ever come into contact with me. My past relationship, my family, friends that I no longer talk to. It feels as though in setting boundaries, I have opened my heart again and learned how to let love in, how to love life again, because I was depressed when I was younger. I had horrible mental health. I did a lot for attention, and I was really struggling. I was bullied in high school, and that sucked. I never had the tools, due to intergenerational trauma, that were there to help you regulate your nervous system and your emotions. And that's no fault of anyone for not knowing how to regulate themselves. I think we're all doing the best with what we have and what we had. I think that when you set boundaries, and when I set my boundaries, my number one goal and reason was I don't want my children to feel the way I felt. It was just recently when I felt like, okay, I want to be a mother one day, and I'm 26. I have time, but I'm so excited for that chapter of my life that I know in timing is going to happen. I know, because I want the kids, I want the family, I want to build that life. But right now, I'm still building my life. I'm still in my timing, trusting all of it. So boundaries not only gave me a sense of peace, they gave me a belief in a bigger and better future for myself, one that I've always deserved, and they give me permission to come back to myself and put myself first. And I carry that through everything I do as I step into the unknown every day. Through boundary setting, I've learned that the unknown isn't something to fear, to trust and let yourself flow. Listen to your body, your signals and gut instincts, because they will tell you when something is aligned. And be free in your expression. Expand on your ideas. Grow them. Setting boundaries from bad weeds that are going to destroy your crop that you are pouring seeds into every day is necessary for you to bloom. And boundaries don't have to be all or nothing. Boundaries can be limiting in time and energy spent in certain places, how often communication happens, but sometimes it is necessary to put a firm boundary and say la vie. I am going to end the podcast here because I feel as though the boundary topic and conversation can be dove in deeper, and there's so much more to the healing and the introspection it took for me to really dig deep through my journaling practice. I had prompts every day. I would do weekly prompts, monthly prompts, and just for 5 years come back to those questions and different questions of development and really get to know myself, my truth, my intentions, where I'm wounded, how my triggers appear, and sit in discomfort. Let myself write out, today was a really bad day. I'm gonna write about what happened. And now I don't feel bad days. That's a huge statement to make, but I don't. I take things for what they are, and I try to see the positive in things without being toxic, positive. I don't look at life in this delusional kind of state of, oh, everything's fine, nothing is wrong in the world. No, because there's a lot wrong in the world. But what can I control? How can I understand that what I'm seeing in the world is going to affect me, and how do I choose to respond instead of react to these emotions? Through learning how to regulate my nervous system, I'm currently building a mindful wellness program called Anchor, and Anchor will have weekly journal prompts, monthly journal prompts, and tools that you can use to come back to regulation, some breathwork exercises. I am creating a tool for mindfulness and wellness, and her name is Anchor. She is not in her final form yet. I am so excited to share what I've been creating behind the scenes. She's still an ongoing process, but soon, in her timing. I wanted to create this tool because my healing journey and practices have just changed my life and everything I've learned along the way. I'd love to be able to share that. I am going to end the podcast here. Thank you so much for listening today. My name is Melina Mala, and I am your host, and this is The Becoming. I am here every Tuesday. Take care of yourself and water yourself. Bye for now.